Hello everyone, welcome back to another English online session. I hope you all fine. Today I am going to narrate the third chapter in the text Snapshots. The name of the chapter is Renga's Marriage. This story was written by Masti Venkadesha Iyengar, and this story was written in the background of a remote village in Karnataka. Very natural, realistic, very casual incidents narrated here. Let's see. The story revolves around Renga, the accountant's son who got the opportunity to go out of the village to study. The narrator takes you through a journey where he changes Renga's perception about marriage and also how he staged their union with the help of a Shastri and what role English has played in their village. The entire story involves funny instances and references for the narrator has made sure your mind stays occupied with the story. This story was written by Masti Venkadesha Iyengar. Now, let me give you a brief outline about this particular writer. Masti Venkadesha Iyengar was a well-known writer in Kannada language. He was the fourth among Kannada writers to be honored with the Jnanapida Award, the highest literary honor conferred in India. He was popularly referred as Masti Kannada Asti, which means Masti Kannada's treasure. He is most renowned for his short stories. He wrote under the pen name Srinivasa. He was honored with the title Raja Sevaka Sakta by then Maharaja of Mysore, Nalbadi Krishnaraja Vadiyar. He was a prolific writer. He wrote more than 123 books in Kannada and 17 in English over the course of 70 years. He won the Jnanapidam Award in 1983 for his novel Chikavira Rajendra. The lesson revolves around Ranga, the village accountant's son, who had just come back from Bangalore. At the news of his arrival, the villagers gathered at his home to analyze if he had changed or not and what is his perception about marriage. Everyone was so excited because during those days, not everyone used to get a chance to go to the cities for higher studies. The narrator expects the readers to be questioning the simplicity of the title Ranga's marriage. He feels readers might be thinking of fancier titles like Ranganatha Vivaha, Ranganatha Vijaya, or Girija Kalyana. He clarifies that although he had options of keeping such elaborate names, the reason why he chose the basic and casual one is because the story is about our Ranka. So he is saying their own Ranka, as in someone who is very close and dear to him. So this story was narrated like any other casual conversation of a knowing person, a kind of a conversation you have with your friends, and he is just giving even some explanation that why he has chosen the name Renga's marriage. They lived in a village called Vasahalli in Mysore. Not many people know of it, and the narrator does not blame them because there is no trace of it in the geography books. Even the Englishmen have no idea about the place, but they are also not to blame because our citizens too are completely ignorant about his village. He refers to the people as sheep who blindly follow each other and do not use their logic or brain to justify or invent things. At last, he feels that cartographer means one who prepare maps, is also not to be held responsible. As a result, there is no trace of their village on the map. The narrator feels apologetic for getting carried away and deviating from the topic. He then again throws light upon the significance of the village Hosahalli. So when the narrator started the story, he mentioned it is about Ranga's marriage, but he was giving more details about his village and the identity of the village. Here, to make us understand the importance of the place, he is making some comparisons. He says it is just as important as Mysore is to India. Then Karigadabu to a festive meal. Karigadabu is a sweet fried filled with the coconut and sugar, very sweet snacks. And again he is comparing this place to show the importance of this place, how much this filling is to this sweet Karigadabu, that much important this place has. Thus, he can't highlight its importance anymore. Not only him, but the doctor named Gundabata feels the same. The doctor has been to many places except England, but he still loves Hosagalli. However, an outsider might contest this, but the narrator claims to stick to his opinion of the place. Then he tells the readers about their special mango trees in the village, whose mangoes are famous for their special quality. He once took the fruit at his home to make chutney, and everyone suffered from a bad cough after eating it. So again he was narrating or describing more details, giving more details about his village. It was only when he went to see the doctor that he told him about the quality of mangoes of Hosahalli. The narrator asks the readers to take a bite and assures that the sourness of the mango will be felt by them till the top of their head. Not only the mangoes, everything in and around this village is remarkable. The creeper growing in the pond and its flowers are also special. One can even serve an afternoon meal on its leaves. All you need to do is to grab two leaves when you are on your way to the pond to bath. Here again he was giving some more additional details about the speciality of his village. After speaking highly of his village, the narrator says if anyone wishes to see for himself Hosagalli, he must contact him. He will help them to reach there. Also, he feels that there is no better way to know a place than to visit it. The narrator then brings about a comparison as to how things were different 10 years ago when not many people knew or spoke English. Neither did people send their children to big cities like Bangalore to study. Back then, only the village accountant had the courage to sent his son to Bangalore. According to the author, those times were simpler. He justifies his claims by telling an incident where he was at Ramrao's house and they had just bought a bundle of firewood from an old lady. In this chapter, he also tells something about how this language changed the culture or the way the people behave or use language. And when he was saying that 10 years back, many people won't use English, they just spoke most of the time. They won't use many English words or no English words. They communicate in Kannada. To make it more clear, he was saying an example that Rama told the old lady to come next morning as he did not have any change at that moment. The poor old lady did not know what change meant, and she went away whispering to herself. Neither did the narrator know its meaning. It was only when he went to Ranga's house that Ranga told him the meaning of that particular word. However, 10 years ago, English was not commonly spoken in this village, and when the villagers came to know that Ranga, the accountant's son, was coming home from Bangalore, everyone got excited and rushed to his home to have a glance at him. Fascinated by all the crowd, the narrator too went there and asked people as to why they were gathered because he couldn't see anything entertaining happening there, like a monkey performing. A boy without brains shouted loud enough for everyone to hear and in a rude way. The narrator called him immature. All the people were waiting outside Ranga's house because the place would look like the black hole of Calcutta. If they all went inside by saying this, the narrator means that there were so many people that the house would have fallen short to accommodate them all. Thus, Renka came outside with a smile on his face. Everyone was so amazed to see that Renka had not changed a bit after he left 6 months ago. An old lady even went to the extent of running her hands through his chest to check for a sacred thread. However, she went away after confirming that he had not forgetting about his caste. So he was narrating about the incidents happened in Ranga's house. People gathered there with a lot of excitement to see what are the changes came to Ranga as he went to pursue his education in Bangalore, a city. Usually, when people from village they go to city, there are apparent changes occur in them, the dressing style or the ways they speak. Even the attitude may change as they started following the city culture. So these people, the village people, would like to know whether these changes came to Renga. But they identified that Renga didn't change much. Once the villagers realized that Renga did not change even after moving to the city, they disappeared as fast as a lump of sugar does in a child's mouth. The narrator waited till the crowd cleared and asked him about his well being. Ranga noticed him and replied with full respect in a traditional way. Ranga had not noticed the narrator in the crowd before that moment. Ranga was very well behaved and well aware as to who could benefit him. He was one of those who could analyze someone's worth rightfully. For how he greeted the narrator, he bent bow and touched his feet, thereby seeking his blessings. It was not the present day namaskara where children would do it casually. It was a proper traditional one. The narrator blessed him that he might get married soon and then left. Afternoon, Renga visited the author with a few oranges, which the narrator thought was quite thoughtful of him. Thinking of how nice Renga is, the author thought it would be a good deed to have him married to a girl just as nice as him. They chatted for a while, and then the narrator asked Renga about his views on getting married. Renga expresses that he doesn't intend on marrying now because he intends on finding the right girl. He cites the example of an officer who got married at the age of 30 to a woman aged 25. Now, since these are both adults, they would understand each other's actions and behavior. Whereas, suppose the narrator finds a girl who is very young, she could misunderstand his words or actions because she is not mature enough. Here, Ranga, this narrator would like to get him married because he is a very nice young fellow, and he is explaining. Ranga is explaining his expectations about getting married. He even mentions the love story of Shakuntala and Dushanta from Mahabharata, and that he would have not fallen in love with Shakuntala if she were too young. In that case, Kalidas's play also would have not existed. That is why he intends on staying a bachelor till he finds the right girl. Here, the narrator introduces us to a new character in the story named Retna. She is 11-year-old and is Ramrao's niece. She had lost both her parents, so her uncle brought her from the big town to home with him. She had a great voice and could play harmonium and veena. The narrator thought that Ranga and Ratna would make a great pair. Here, the narrator introducing a character, and he was thinking that Ratna, the girl, can make a good pair to Ranga. So I am stopping the narration here. You just go through the text, just try to find the meaning of new words. See you in the next class. Bye.